All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope you guys had a great weekend. We're going to pick up with the obstacles of the way. We're going to dive right into Chapter 8, just getting towards the end of Part 1, all about perception. And Chapter 8 is titled, Live in the Present Moment. And so this one starts off a little bit differently. It doesn't give a story about a particular leader or anybody like that. It starts talking about businesses in general. And it starts by just putting a list of a few companies that all started during a recession or an economic crisis. And some of the companies that they mention are Fortune Magazine, UPS, Coors Brewing, it has Costco, Microsoft, United Airlines, and there's a whole list. There's a bunch more actually that go into it, but those are the big ones that probably all of you guys have heard of. And then, as the chapter continues to go on, it starts talking about more than half of the United States Fortune 500 companies actually started during some type of economic crisis, some type of recession or bear market, which is actually what we're in right now. And you just think about that. More than half of these successful companies started at somewhat of a disadvantage. And I mean, it's just incredible to think that. And whenever you start thinking about, okay, how did that come to being? The main reason is because these leaders all stayed in the present moment. And it was so important to exist in the present. And all these leaders, everybody that was involved in this, knew that there was a job to do. And so they didn't want to think, they wanted to think in the right now. And they wanted to know what is as opposed to what was or what could be. The focus was what is right now and how can we overcome it. Because a lot of times obstacles, when we come up to them, they'll try to take us to the past or they'll try to take us to the future. For example, whenever we come up to something that is somewhat perceived as an obstacle, a lot of times we think, oh, well, this could have been different if, or, oh, this would be different if we do this. So a lot of times we need to be able to just gear ourselves and get our mind back into the present and focus on the task at hand. And it's more than just saying I'm going to live in the present moment. We need to work at this continually every single day. And the big example that they use is talking about being able to catch your mind whenever you find it wandering. And I couldn't help but just think back to what the late Kobe Bryant, whenever he was describing what Mamba mentality really is and when he first discovered it. And I know we talked about this during a team meeting during the season when Coach Arth brought it up. And just to refresh your guys' memories, when Kobe Bryant was discovering this Mamba mentality, it all happened whenever he was 13 years old and he had a basketball game. It was a playoff game, and the guy that he was supposed to be boxing out on a last-second shot ended up getting the rebound and putting the putback in, and they eventually lost that game. And that happened because he lost his focus, and whenever that shot went up, instead of finding his guy and boxing him out, he just started watching the ball. He lost that focus. And then the next day, he's in a math class, and all of a sudden the teacher's talking, they're going over something, and he catches himself thinking about the game last night, just his mind is wandering on a few other things, and then boom, that's when it hit him. He realized the same reason he didn't box the guy out and he got caught watching the shot was the same reason he can't focus right now in this geometry class, in this math class. It's because he's not living in the present moment. He's thinking about the past or thinking about the future. And when really, we need to be able to channel ourselves to live in that present moment. That's Chapter 8. We'll pick up tomorrow with Chapter 9 as we get towards the end of Part 1. But let's give a shout out to all my quarterbacks. I believe it's TJ DeShields' birthday, so happy birthday to him. And all my quarterbacks, if you guys want to hit me up, we'll discuss a little bit about this chapter. All right, guys, take care.